talk about your early years, your schooling, your father as an inspiration, and to be India's first Formula One driver, it must have taken a lot given the lack of resources back in the day?
Yeah, you can imagine, racing right now in India, has a lot of focus, especially on Formula One, because what Netflix has done to it in the last 4 years, of course, the Formula One movie itself, but, trying to, the aspiration of wanting to be a Formula One driver from Coimbatore in the 90s, where, nobody had done really international motor racing. It was a huge challenge. It was definitely not a walk in the park, but I went through a lot of struggles and, a lot of, sometimes you miss many opportunities, but the dream, the goal, the ever desiring goal was to, become India's first Formula One driver. And, the stars lined up. I had a lot of support. It's a very expensive sport. There are a lot of barriers. You're racing in Europe. People, don't, in in racing, people were like, really? But then things changed. I had the support of Mr. Tata. The Tata Group supported me. And, so made it possible. I mean, the desire to get there was very, very high. And one goal, one vision was to get to F1. And that happened way back in 2005. So, it was a great day for the Indian motorsport community. And ever since, we've not had a Formula One driver. We're close to getting another one, I think. But, it's been quite the journey for sure.
And after you tasted success of the many, many years that you spent in Europe, which would you describe as the highlights of your career that shaped your life the most?
Obviously, in my early career, winning in England in the Formula 3 Championship, that was something that really gave me the confidence that I knew that I had what it takes to go all the way. Of course, making it to Formula 1 in 2005 with Eddie Jordan's Jordan Grand Prix team has to be the highlight. You're racing, you dream of racing against Michael Schumacher and so on, and to be really doing it was a surreal moment for sure. But that was probably one of the best memories I've had in racing, yes.
You have raced alongside the legends of global motorsport, and for any aspirant, they would crave to kind of have the global exposure that you've had. What did you take from them?
The commitment and the dedication of how hard these athletes work. They might be talented, but they use their talent and all the tools that are given to them in a very constructive way and focus the energies on that. That's how you achieve success. And nothing comes simple in life. Everything is, you need to work hard at it. And of course, the European and American culture of racing is so strong that the grassroots levels of racing is at a very high level. So that's why they produce a lot of young drivers and riders from those countries.
How do you train your mind before you get into a race? Is there a sense of fear that creeps in, of any uncertainty that lies ahead of you? How do you remember those years?
Yes, racing is still a very dangerous sport, and the fear factor is always there in the back of the mind, and you have to respect the sport or else it will bite back very badly at you. Not only you put others at risk, but thankfully the tracks and the cars, are all become much more safer. The last fatality in Formula One was way back 10 years ago, and Jules Bianchi lost his life at the Japanese Grand Prix, or the accident, severe injuries led to his eventual passing away. But, it's a sport where, by the time I made my debut in Formula One, fitness was something which was very, there was a lot of focus on fitness. Simulators had become, just started coming into the sport. And then, working with your team, you have lots of data flowing through so that we make the best out of these tools and that's what I learned. The first year in racing in Formula One was like nothing ever before. Nothing prepares you to, get to Formula One. You would have seen the movie, the F1 movie. It's loosely based on a real Formula One driver. And, you know, the amount of course, it's a bit dramatized, but then it's largely what happens, you know, the insights of the sport is very well captured and very well, put together as a film, and Brad Pitt did a superb job.